Good morning from Ironman Raceway. Race day is finally here, and it feels like the whole paddock has been holding its breath for this exact moment. Under clear Midwestern skies and a friendly 83 degrees Fahrenheit per 28 degrees Celsius, the 2025 Monsterenergy FIM Motocross of Nations moves from promise to points, and the atmosphere is electric. Opening ceremonies detonated into fireworks and noise, but the real thunder came when the MXGP and MX2 gate dropped for Moto1. Lucas Koenen fired the first shot with a hole shot. Jet Lawrence tucked instantly into second, and then the first corner roulette spun cruelly. Germany's Simon Langenfelder and Australia's Kyle Webster both went down, and 2 turns later Ken Roczen hit the deck as well. Roczen remounted to a grandstand roar and kept digging from last. Langenfelder would not continue, while up front Jet made the pass on Koenen before the first lap was in the books and began to inch away with that clinical, low-drama pace that breaks fields without ever looking risky. The chase formed behind him with Tim Geiser, Romain Febvre, Isaac Gifting, and Eli Tomac in tow. Then Febvre tipped over a few laps in, ceding track position to Geiser and Tomac, just as the MX2 trio of Sasha Koenen, Justin Cooper, and Kay de Wolf started to carve forward. Early, the ledger looked Belgium-friendly, with the Koenen twins running P2 and P5. By mid-distance, it turned into survival math. Tomac shadowed Geiser for lap after lap, but the Slovenian refused to blink, and the American, cheered around the entire circuit every time the number 4 appeared, had to settle for following Geiser to the stripe. Febvre regrouped and went back to work, slicing past Ruben Fernandez and de Wolf as his French teammate Mathis Vallon muscled into the top 10. Then the Moto1 sting in the tail. On the final lap, Sasha Koenen high-sided. His KTM came to rest right in Cooper's landing zone, and the American plowed directly into the stranded number 47. Sasha was credited 20th, Cooper promoted to 10th, and the Belgian was left nursing a wrist he'll now need to ride through. On the very day, the Netherlands also absorbed a DNS from Glenn Koldenhoff after yesterday's qualifying crash. At the flag, it read Lawrence from Roczen and Febvre, with Geiser hanging Tomac out on the bubble, and the grandstands saluting both Tomac and Cooper for hard-won damage control. When the sheets were tallied, the team picture tightened exactly as this event loves to do. The USA and France deadlocked on 14 points, Australia on 16, and everything suddenly hinging on who could turn clean laps in traffic 2 more times. Moto2, Open Plus MX2, felt like a cut-and paste start with a plot twist. For the second straight race, a Lawrence brother grabbed the early real estate, while for the second straight race, their teammate Kyle Webster was tangled in first corner chaos. Hunter Lawrence escaped. Joe Shimoda locked into the early hunt, and Slovenia's Jan Pankar plus Switzerland's Valentin Gillard made themselves known before RJ Hampshire arrived like a wrecking ball from 7th, slicing forward to P2 with Cooper buried outside the top 15 and grinding. Just as RJ looked set to give the US the perfect counterpunch, the open class bit back. He tucked the front on corner exit, slid to 5th, and handed 2nd to Shimoda. Up front, Hunter had 2 uncharacteristic tip-overs that kept the gap honest, while RJ regrouped, found Pankar's rear wheel, and then clipped him just past mechanics area for crash number 2. Moments later, he was forced to pick his way around Liam Everts all over again, with Cooper climbing methodically to 10th. Behind, Sasha Konen's tough day continued. A fall at the start left him dead last on an already sore wrist for Moto1, but he battled up to 21st before time ran out, compounding Belgium's headache. With 2 to go, RJ's third mistake sealed the shape of the results, 4th back to 7th in a heartbeat, and that's where he'd finish, while Cooper locked another tidy 10th. Gillard's early promise unraveled to 35th, and Germany's afternoon went from brave to brittle with Langenfelder registering a DNF. When the dust settled, Hunter's early burst in mid-moto composure delivered the win ahead of a superbly measured Shimoda, with Calvin Vlonderen banking a heavyweight 3rd for the Netherlands, and the American duo salvaging points the hard way. 2 motos down, the pattern is clear. The Lawrences keep winning the starts and the arguments. The US is living on resilience. Belgium is fighting the injury tide. And every nation is now staring at the same Sunday arithmetic. Minimize damage in the chaos. Cash your anchors when they're humming. And pray your throwaway score never has to be used. Race 3, MXGP Plus Open, dropped with the whole weekend hanging in the balance, and Joe Shimoda punched first, sprinting to the lead, while both Lawrence brothers settled inside the top 5. Hunter pressing in 3rd, Jet shadowing in 4th, before the opening laps reshuffled everything, and Jet was suddenly mired in 14th, with Hampshire around 15th. The live score math still favoring Australia over the USA, as France hovered with rides in 6th and 10th. Hunter started playing chess early, reading Shimoda's lines and rolling momentum where the track funnel narrow. And when Lucas Koenen arrived on the scene breathing fire, Belgium's Phenom hounding the lead like he owned it, the front three went Hunter, Koenen, Shimoda in a flash. While Jet began the long salvage from 11th and Hampshire slogged to 13th, the Americans' podium prospects wobbling with every bobble. Then Eli Tomac lit the board with the fastest lap of the moto, slicing to 5th, and the whole rhythm of the race changed. Hunter controlled the pace with surgical exits. Koenen stuffed every corner entry to stay glued. Shimoda kept a metronome gap, and Tomac picked off Everts to land P for as Vlaanderen's bright start evaporated. Jet's comeback gathered teeth, P10 then P9, just as the leaders hit lappers for the first time, and Australia's margin of safety widened with every place gained. For laps in the leaderboard stabilized, Hunter, Koenen, Shimoda, Tomac, Everts, Febvre, Fernandez, Geiser, Lawrence, Renault, until Fernandez cartwheeled out of 7th, and the door swung wide for Jet to inherit 8th and keep marching. The complexion up front stayed volatile. Koenen wouldn't let Hunter breathe. Shimoda hovered like a magnet. Tomac closed like a freight train. And the next group formed a GP all-star scrum. Everts, Febvre, Geiser, Renault, just as Hampshire tipped over again and fell to 22nd, the final dagger in Team USA's bid to keep the pressure on Australia. Jet cleared Geiser, set sights on Febvre, and with Everts beeping on radar, the AMA trio began to ring-fence the moto. By lap 7, Hunter's gap was 2.1 seconds on Koenen, with Shimoda 4.8 back, the tempo crisp but clean, until Koenen finally blinked, crashing out of 2nd and flipping the podium to an all-AMA lockout. Hunter, Shimoda, Tomac, with Jet now the fastest man, not yet on the box. From there, it felt like Bud's Creek echoes, 2007 in the rafters. Tomac muscled into 2nd. Jet blew past Everts for 4th, and the scoreboard read Hunter, Tomac, Shimoda, Lawrence, Febvre, Geiser, Renault, gifting, Koenen racing his way back to 9th. 3 former MX2 world champs, Roxanne Caroli, John S., cycled in 13th, 14th, 15th while Hampshire retired, and the only question left was whether Jet could make a Lawrence 1-2. He got to Shimoda, broke him, and locked the AMA sweep of the podium. Hunter, Tomac, Jet, slamming the door on the trophy chase and putting the exclamation mark on Australia's reign. The final lap was a coronation tour. Hunter ice cold to stripe, Tomac relentless to the end, Jet incandescent after that early trap in traffic, and the Chamberlain Trophy staying down under for a 2nd straight year. The stat lines tell the story Australia wrote all weekend. Hunter Lawrence perfect and open with 1-1. Jet Lawrence the MXGP class winner at 1-3 despite the deepest traffic of any frontrunner. And Kada Wolf the MX2 ace on 8-8 in a war of attrition that crushed more favorites than it rewarded. The macro reads just as clearly as the micro. The Lawrences won the starts and the arguments when it mattered. Australia's throwaway never became a crisis thanks to Hunter's control and Jet's damage limitation. The USA showed raw pace, but couldn't outrun unforced errors. Belgium flashed a winning ceiling, then got kneecapped by Sasha's wrist and Lucas's late crash, and France's class depth never quite converted to clean sheets. By the time the fireworks popped again over Ironman, the scoreboard and the feeling agreed. Australian Motocross owns the moment, and they defended their crown exactly the way great teams do, by turning 1,000 tiny risks into one undeniable result.